training for ADCC and a lot of no-gi tournaments, wrestling is a huge part of it. Okay, and it gave me a chance to explore some different things, some different techniques that you don't really find in jiu-jitsu, and that's hard to find if you're just doing straight jiu-jitsu, whether it be gi or no gi. So this one gave me the opportunity to start to play with the front headlock with a lot of wrestlers and things, and it started to help me develop a few different things that I use today. Okay, I use the cradle quite extensively from the bottom and the top position, whether I'm passing or attacking the guillotine. Okay, so for those of us who don't know what the cradle is, it's a control position that usually leads to a pin in folk and freestyle wrestling. It has to do with a front headlock grip, whether it be a chin strap or coming to the far tricep, and we're coming around his leg and connecting our hands. Okay, with this cradle grip, what can happen? It's very easy to break somebody down onto their side, whereas in wrestling we're breaking them down to their shoulder blades to pin. But in jiu-jitsu, it's very easy to break them down to their side and control them here in this cradle position. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting my hands together and I'm closing my elbows. His head and his knee get as close as possible. Okay, this position I start to get into from the guard, from sweeps, from passing, all kinds of things. Okay, I just want to go over what it is. I'm locking behind his knee. Okay, I don't want to be grabbing up by his hamstring where he's strong, where he's going to stretch my leg and beat me. I want to get down here by an extremity here. Okay, I can even come lower and then come up to behind his knee. I'm going to connect my hands. Notice, if my elbows are out here and he tries to kind of like open himself up, it's hard to hold him. My grip's already coming loose. Right from here, I'm just going to close my elbows and tuck my lats back, just like I did in the guillotine. Go ahead, Tribal. Okay, it's a lot harder for him to move now. Now look at if the back relaxes. Go ahead and move. Okay, can open me up pretty easy. Make sure we're not here. We're closing. Remember, our back is coming hinged and down, and we're punching our elbows together here. Now I have good position. I have a proud chest also to force into him and keep some pressure. How do I get the cradle from the guillotine from the bottom? It's a little bit of a different, little bit unique thing, but it has to do with my opponent's reaction, okay? He doesn't want to be swept over to the mount like we just did in the last series. He doesn't want to be swept to the mount, down 6 points and in a deep submission. That's terrible. That's probably the worst place you could be, okay? He's going to do everything he can to defend. What does he do when he's losing his base? His feet have to come into play to try and make up for it. So what does that look like? Front headlock on our side. We're starting to sweep here. Notice where he is. He has his legs up in the air. If I'm trying to reach for a cradle right here, not even close to it, okay? I'm not going to be able to get to my cradle here. And if I release my guillotine to come here, he has a deep underhook to start putting pressure with the shoulder and beating me. Notice how he beats me. He gets me flat on the mat here. Now I don't have angle with this to be able to finish him, okay? So I need to get his hips a little higher up to get his legs light. If there's weight on his leg here, it's going to be hard for me to grab and pull in. Right from here, okay, my legs are coming up and I'm starting to sweep. Right here is where I'm going to release and get the cradle, okay? I connect my hands. This hand comes around to connect. I don't try and shoot my hand from the chin to his leg. I stay on the chin, I come around to grab, and now I close my elbows, and I'm going to finish my sweep, okay? Once I sweep my partner here, notice how I'm on his chin still, and this hand's through. I'm pinching him all in right here, okay? I've already achieved a sweep. How am I going to pass? I'm going to hold his chin, and I'm going to start to open his body here. Once I open this space, my left knee slides into the hip. Once it slides into the hip, I've blocked his hip to where he can't move. And now I need to get his shoulders flat on the mat to secure my side control. My hand can release to come under his arm here, and I'm going to start to put pressure on this guillotine. Right from here when I'm putting pressure in the guillotine, what's he going to do? He's going to force his head back to escape. That's great. Moves me right into my side control here. Okay. One more time. I have this guillotine locked. Here like this. Here, I need to get his hips over his head. Okay? My legs pull in, my knees pull into my chest. And I get him up. Look at how light his leg is. Connect. And I use this to sweep. Right here, bring him down onto his side. Sitting up. Chin strap. Open his leg. Left knee to the hip. Block his hips. And now my chest forces to put him flat. I start to arch his head up to keep him uncomfortable. And I move right into my side control. Okay? Easy for him to defend that choke. I don't really have a whole lot holding him down, but in the time that he's defending, points tournament, refs counting for points, and submission only, we're in a great spot to be able to lead to another finish. Okay? So one more time. Guillotine with the arm in. This is another reason we're going to start to explore the cradle a little bit, why I like this position. I have this leg, I know where that leg is. I know where that leg is. It's here, I can feel it. My knees come in, connect my hips, sit up to finish the sweep. Chin strap, open his body up, left knee comes to the hip. Okay? I do not want him on his side right here. Block his hips, force my chest forward. You start to put pressure. Okay? Pressure, pressure, pressure. Head comes free. And we move into a side control right here. I'm already blocking his hips and have his hips pinched between elbow and knee. Now I just need to find my underhook and I can secure a tight side control. So now, same thing. Block the cradle, sweep, and now we're going to look at the mechanics to finish a one-arm guillotine from side control. Okay, this is a submission we've seen done often. We've seen Hinger do this position against Keenan at the American Nationals. We've seen Cyborg submit Jackson Souza this last year at Nogi Worlds. We've seen Marcelo hit this maybe 100 times on MG in Action and different things like this. So it is a well-known but lesser practice submission, I would say. There's just a few things that we need to do to be able to make this submission effective. One thing we have to avoid is arching up. When we're arching up in the last one, we're baiting our opponent to escape to move into a tight side control. By the time that he's in the side control with their hands wrapped, no way he's going to escape. We have the underhook, we have the cross face, we have his hips pinched. We're in a very tight side control. But if I want to finish, I have to practice a few different techniques here. Okay? So I'm getting into the cradle the same way. Everything's about what I make this guy do here. Okay? I don't want to lean straight back so he has posture. I have to make him all twisted up and all uncomfortable here. He comes up on his feet, my knees come in, he's already falling over, cradle, and I follow him here. I am opening his body, one, and I'm holding onto the chin strap here. To finish, my chest is going to come down in front of his face, right here. Okay? When my chest comes down, I'm going to let my hand ride through to get my chest on top of my hand one more time. All right? From here, I can use my back hand to come under his arm and hold here. I don't want to be here like this where he can use his arm to possibly come in to defend my hand or to hug around my back and make things difficult for me. So once I get here, I'm looking to get my arm underneath his arm here, and I'm going to turn my hips. How am I going to turn my hips? I'm going to sprawl, and I'm going to turn my right hip down. Once I do this, I start to put pressure. I don't want to turn this way, here, because we're going to get in the same scenario where the guy's going to push you, your head is up off the floor, and he's going to escape. It's not such a bad thing, because I can simply move in to my side control. But if I want to finish, I need to sprawl my right leg here. Once I sprawl my right leg, I'm keeping my left leg tight, and now I'm going to circle my arm back and be able to finish with a tight one-handed choke. Okay? So the whole thing again Remember, it's about closing a circle. Like a lot of people say, with a one-handed choke, you can't have all this open here. That's why my hand's flat against my chest, and that's why my ribs lay heavy, to keep his head right in this circle here where everything is closed around his neck. Okay? So, one more time. Guillotine. I know where his leg is because I'm on my side, I'm in this guard. My knees come into my chest, his leg is light. I'm using this to sweep and come over. Neck, leg, stretch, bring my knee in. Okay? Once I bring my knee in, I'm going to bring my chest down. Notice how my hands open to come against my chest here. I can hug under his arm. I sprawl, and now I start to pull my elbow back. Look at my lat. Watch my lat. Not shrugging. Watch my back right here. None of my body's moving. There is no arching here. My head is down low. My head is up even a little more now to be able to talk. I like to keep my head right down low. Here. So my head's down nice and low. I'm going to hide that lat. Finish. Super tight choke. Closed circle. Very similar to the mounted guillotine. Everything in jiu-jitsu is action, reaction. So I'm going to do something, he's going to do something. Okay? And it kind of plays out like this. I'm going to use this same position to sweep, find my one-arm guillotine, but I'm going to have to transition into another submission. So what's happening here is there's a whole series of moves. By the end of this series with the cradle, I want a whole series of moves where we can go to several different positions, submissions, and points of control, where we have a vast arsenal to use against our opponent's defending. Okay, so cradle, we've seen it before. Here we are. We're on our side. He comes up. I pull my knees in. His leg's light. I connect my hands. Sweep to get to the top. Right here, when I'm opening to come into the side control, I achieve my side control. I come down, close this space, and I can start to choke. Right here, he's going to keep his face turned. See how his face is kind of turned away towards me here like this? Here, it kind of makes it tough to finish the guillotine. What it doesn't make it tough to do, though, is a north-south choke. I just have to use my body to get him into the right position. So from here, I'm going to stay sprawled, and I'm going to walk down. When I walk down, I'm going to use my hand flat on the mat. When I put my hand flat on the mat, I don't want to keep my palm up. If you can notice, my bicep is huge. No, when I keep my hand like this, my bicep just bulges out. When I keep my hand down, my bicep gets long. Okay? This is what I want. I want my muscle to be long so there's more pressure on his neck. If I'm here, there's just a little spot where it's really hard that's just pushing into his neck, and then there's nothing. I want my hand nice and long here. Okay? So when I'm here, trying to finish with this guillotine, my hand's going to come flat. I'm going to block his hips with my hand. Okay? My head is down as low as I can get it. If I can put my face down here like this, fantastic. Okay? I need to use my ribs against his face to make him look straight up in the air. Okay? So I'm going to walk by keeping everything low to make his face turn straight up. From here, I need to get an angle where my shoulder's right over his neck. You can notice my shoulder's pushing on his chin. So if I'm squeezing here, my bicep is not on his neck all the way. I need to walk back. When I walk back, what I like to do, if I can, is trap his hand by his hip or push his elbow into his body. Okay? Notice my body. I'm like a sniper right now. I need to be prone. Everything's down low. My hands flat on the floor. My body stays quiet and my arm squeezes. I simply flex my bicep. I've already elongated his neck by walking back, and everything's tight. This is all the submission is right here. Simply squeezing. Not arching, not moving around. All these guillotines, these one-arm chokes, I have to have great body position. I have to be tight, and I'm just doing simple movements. My body's not arching up. I'm not moving around all over. I'm taking my time to get things tight so that I have a very efficient finishing technique. Okay? From here, with the cradle, I'm using this here. Side, knees come up. You start to sweep, connect. Sweep my partner here. When I begin to open, left knee comes in, my chest forces down, and I close this guillotine lock. See how he's keeping his face towards my ribs? I'm not able to finish. I block, my hand comes down as I walk. I need to use my ribs against his face to get him to look away. Look away, look away, and I adjust, okay? I use my hand along his hip. If I can get his arm trapped here, great. Here I am down low like a sniper. I'm ready to shoot somebody here. I stay low, everything's quiet. You won't even see my body move. Simple flex of the arm. And I finish with the north-south choke. I'm going to use the cradle to pass with pressure. When I'm passing with pressure, it's because I'm passing in front and my opponent's going to block me. Okay? So when I have the cradle here, I have the cradle here from the front. When I'm passing, he's going to do everything he can to stay like compressed here and not let me open him up or use his hands in front to block me. Okay? This is very common, and it's hard to pass this way sometimes. He has 2 arms and 2 legs that I have to deal with. Even though I'm cradling him, he still has free limbs to be able to fight me with. Okay? So when I'm here, I'm going to go around to the back. I'm first using my left leg to come inside of his 2 legs. Okay? I'm still hanging onto the cradle here. Now is where I really generate the pressure. I'm going to use my back leg to also come inside. And now I'm going to open his legs here. Notice how I'm sitting right in the middle of his legs. Okay? Now, I have to take the proper steps to secure the position. If I release my cradle here, we're in a scramble. I'm at an advantageous position, but we're in a scramble. So what I'm going to do is take my left arm and I'm going to block his hips. Once I block his hips, my other hand here can now come in front of his face, and I'm going to bring my hand down his back to put pressure. Notice where I am. Right in between his legs, kind of giving him a little bit of a crotch splitter, and my hands connected, bringing him flat on the mat. Okay? Now I have his upper body damn near pinned, and his hips are away from me. Now I have the option to pass to either side. Okay? I have the option to pass back in front, or I have the option to bring my hand back here into the chest and pass towards his back. Okay? So now, if we use this from the sweep, getting it from the same spot, I'm here, leg high, bring him up, cradle, come over. I can't pass to the front. I'm going to bring left knee inside. I'm going to continue to keep on his head as I bring my right leg inside. Once I have my knees inside, I open my knees wide and block his hips. Now here I am. I have the option to pass to the front. I can wrap his head, bring his shoulders down flat, and pass in front again. I can also come back to the same position, push him down flat. I can now circle my arm back here in the chest and pass to the negative side. Okay? When I do this position, it's really, really important I keep him compressed. Okay? He doesn't want to be held here with me in between his legs. It's very important I keep him compressed. So when I'm here in my original position and he's stopping me, how is he going to stop me from passing? He's going to need to compress himself, right? So now I use my knee to stop him from stretching. Now if he tries to stretch away, go ahead. I'm just wedged behind him here. My other knee comes in. I open my knees now. This is the part where, go ahead and try. This is the part where I can hold him all day if I wanted to. This is the part in wrestling where I put him flat on the floor, and I win. Okay? But we're not wrestling. We're doing jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to take my left hand off, block, block. I have the option now. Pass to the back, pass to the front. It just depends on my pressure and my opponent's reaction. Let's say I block his hip, and when I come in front of the head, he blocks my hand. No problem. My head comes down, and I pass behind and secure guard pass. Let's say I'm here, and while I'm blocking the hip, he tries to put his back flat on the floor. I pass to the front. Okay? This is a spot where we can be and kind of wait for his reaction, because we have him in such a bad spot right here. There's no guard. There's no frame that's really going to stop me from doing what I want right here. Okay? So let's look at it again. Whole way through. Guillotine position. Nothing's changed. Here. Knees up. Connect. Sweep. Once I sweep, look, I can't. He's staying compressed. I don't feel comfortable to open up. The left leg inside. One. Right leg inside. Open my base. Block his hips. And now I can wait to see where I'm going. Yeah, he just put himself flat on the mat. He just justified what he wanted. Pressure. He starts pushing my hand away. He's framing me away. My head comes down. I move to his back. Okay? When I move to his back, if he keeps his back away from me, I even have the option to take his back here. Okay? And put even more pressure on him, put him in an even worse spot. Now, we're going to look at a standing series of where it's really common for us to get into guillotines. One, if we don't have any contact with them, our opponent's going to shoot in for a double leg or off of distance contact, distance wrestling, and we're going to be able to get to our guillotine. There's a few more points to get to this guillotine than people think about. If he's shooting for a double leg here, and I'm sprawling square here, I'm not in a great spot to get this guillotine. Notice where I'm connecting my hands, and if he continues to drive for the takedown, what's going to happen? Flat on my back one more time. Okay? When he's coming for the takedown, I don't want him to have his hands locked around me. Notice how I'm going to sprawl. So go ahead, shoot slowly for the first one. My hand is going to punch under, and my sprawl is going to come to the side. Notice the space I have between he and I. Now, I can lock up a very, very tight guillotine. He's already falling forward as like he wants to be swept. Okay? Like he's giving me the sweep. But right from here, I can bite down and be able to finish with the guillotine. What's the difference? With the square sprawl, we don't have any space here. Okay? We have a space to get our hands together, but he is the one who controls like the pace right here and where we're going to go. When I'm sprawling to the side, I'm pushing him away from me to where my arm now has the ability to come around, and my momentum is going to use this here to sweep or get to my half guard or guard. Right? When he shoots in, I want to create separation. I don't create separation if he shoots in and I sprawl square. I don't create separation like this, okay, with my hands up here. I create separation when I'm punching my underhook. I create separation here. Notice how far he is away from me. If he tries to chase me for a reshot, he falls right into my takedown. Okay? Here I am. Look at my leg. Looking for the half guard here. If I don't find the half guard, my knee comes up across his waist and my leg comes high. Lats back. Hold the finish. Okay? So one more time. I want to sprawl. When I say I want to sprawl square, or I don't want to sprawl square, I don't want to sprawl square looking at him. I want to sprawl to the side. My upper body's turning, but I still want to keep my hips relatively flat to the mat. I don't want to practice sprawling in this manner. Here, completely banked to the side. I still want to have some squared up to him. The more square my hips are, the heavier my hips can be. Okay? Off to the side, I have a little pointer-like sharpness here against the shoulder, but he can still run his feet to the outside and finish me. It's important that I punch my underhook and I sprawl very hard on the shoulder. One more time, a little quicker. Okay, we're here, we're wrestling. Oh, here I am. Guillotine. Pulling through, lock, lats down, finish. Okay, notice how fast that sprawl was. Notice how I have that underhook punching. My hand comes. It's a simple connection. My backhand is already right where it needs to be, waiting for the chin strap in to be reinforced.